and welcome to Let's Talk with Tinat Masood. And like I always keep telling you, Let's Talk is brought to you by the Betty Crumb Group. And in this particular show, what I try to bring for you is exceptional people. I try to bring for you people who are doing exceptional work, who are very special and who you might not know, and who are working secretly, who are doing things very quietly, and I might not know these people. And you know what, I'll tell you one thing, viewers, I'm very lucky to be a part of this particular show because I'm getting to meet some enormously wonderful people. And today I have one special person. Now, I didn't know about this person at all. Now, it's my friend Lovita. I have to thank you, Lovita, for actually introducing me to this wonderful person. He says I met him twice, but you know, and then he comes up with this whole lot of inventions. Imagine inventions. I'm not talking about discoveries. You don't go to the top of a hill and discover that there's a flower out there. He's invented a lot of stuff, and that is why I've invited him to my show, because he's special, he's extraordinary, and he is doing Betty Crummy work. He's doing work which is out of the ordinary. Please help me welcome to my show Afreed Islam.
Hello. Hello everyone.
It's so nice that you're here, because you know what, I'll tell you one thing. I did not know that you are this young person with, with my size, you're like this young to me. So I did not know that such a person actually existed, and this person is doing such wonderful work. I did not know, seriously, Afreed. And it's a pleasure to have you. It's in fact my honor. It's like a privilege that Afreed Islam is here. Somebody who is doing such wonderful work for AI, right? Should I say that correctly?
Yeah,
that is for artificial intelligence. Exactly. You're doing some wonderful work. And you're from Guwahati?
Yeah, I'm from Guwahati. I'm born in Guwahati. I studied in Guwahati.
Where did you study, Afreed?
My first school was Little Flower School, Hattigaon.
All right. Then, that's a wonderful school, by the way. I've been there.
Okay. And next, I did my class 11 and 12 from Don Bosco Pan Bazaar.
Oh, wow. All right. My son is studying there. Okay. So, okay, right. And then after that, what did you get into?
After my 12s, I took a year gap. Actually, there was a lot of things that got into my mind because when I was in class 10, I started getting exposure to a different kind of world.
All right.
Which I would like to say. The world which we are not much known, because
when I
Hetu period, what happened was like there was not much access to internet for people.
Yeah, all right.
Like, everybody is on the internet.
It's fair. Yeah.
So that period of time, I got exposed to a different kind of world where electrons, where digital signals talk. It was a completely new kind of world for me. When I was in my class 7, I wondered how will it be to program my own software, and there was.
And this you did in class 7.
Yeah, like I don't know what came up to my mind, because I got introduced to a computer when I was somewhere in between class 2. My dad, he was into electronic engineering, so I grew up looking up to him. Like, he always does things. So I got inspired. So at that point in class 7, I got a maths homework.
Okay.
And this is a very interesting story that changed my life. So that maths homework was like some formulas were there. We are supposed to finish 50 sums on that particular formula. Okay. And main trick was, the teacher told us, you have to write down each and every step. And what happened was, like, in my entire summer vacation, I didn't do anything. Okay. I didn't open my books at all. So that point of time, I thought, let me see what will be the possible solution. Like, I have one night and tomorrow I have to submit it. Like, so what happened was, I created a program where I could input all those digits and it gave me each and every step.
Wow.
So in that way, I just copied those steps and I did my homework of 50 sums with all the steps, each and every steps, and with the help of a program. So that was kind of a breakthrough for me. And at that particular moment, I realized, okay, this is a different kind of thing, and I think I'm more curious about this. And
you got excited about the whole thing.
And when first of all, when I told my parents, they were quite angry at me because I cheated my homework.
Okay.
And that's because I was supposed to learn that. What I did was, মই cheat কৰি পিনে I somehow submitted my homework. So that was the point when things changed. Like
All right.
I gradually started exploring more and more, and at one point of time, there's one incident where I was invited to one of my uncle's wedding, and he's a software engineer. He works in Malaysia now. So I was really curious to go to that wedding because I want to ask him one thing: how do you make softwares? So it was his wedding day, and like all the rituals were going on. I was the kid who rushed to him.
And how old were you at that point of time?
I think that was class 6, at the end of my class 6. I ran to him and I was like, how do you make a software? The thing he told me was quite funny. Like he told me you have to study a lot, you have to be my age, then you will be able to create a software. Although to his shock, when I was in my class 10, I created my own operating system, and a lot of softwares came
You
up.
created your own operating system in class 10?
Yeah, exactly.
This is a genius guy I'm talking to, and I did not know Afreed Islam all this time, and I'm so lucky that Betikrom has given me the chance to speak to you, because in Let's Talk I bring people like you, and I must thank my friend Lovita, because she's the one who said you must bring this person, he's too good, he's a genius, you know, and she's, you know how she is. So you, in class 10 you did that?
Yeah, like a lot of inspiration came to me because at that time internet was not that accessible to me, but still we went to internet cafes that time. My cousin's place, they had internet connection, broadband. So I used to go to their house, to my friend's place. I used to download those softwares and get very much curious about how do you make it actually. Then it took me almost 3 years from my first the operating system that I built. I studied it at the age of like when I was in class 7, and from 7 it took me 3 years to have a complete operating system like which can be used by people. So that was the particular like those 3 years was complete sleepless nights, and I have to cope up with my studies also because class 7 to 10, class 10 is like that time it was a big thing. I don't know what's now about other students, but so all those things were there. My parents had a lot of hope because everybody wants a good college, good marks. 10 point was a big thing. It's still a big thing. Like everybody wants 10 points.
Right.
But at some point of time in class 9, when I went to Kolkata to patent my software, and also along with
you
that,
patented your software in class 9?
Yeah, I went to Kolkata for the examination.
Am I speaking to an Einstein, or am I speaking to a genius scientist? No, well, I'm not going to say Einstein. I'm going to say the Afreed, the one and only Afreed Islam that I'm talking to, and he's a genius. So. Yeah.
Like I really look up to Einstein, and so I don't want to.
So I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say next Einstein. I'm going to say next Afreed.
Not anywhere near.
Next Afreed. Okay.
So that moment, the process of learning started actually. What I didn't know was that I was learning each and every. Even today, I'm learning things. Like every new thing that comes up, it's a challenge for me. That time also, it was a challenge for me to come up with all those things. I took it as a challenge that I have to do it, and I did it.
Okay.
I always challenged myself with my curiosities. So that way, when I got a little exposure, I came up on the front pages of a lot of newspapers that period, and even our respected Chief Minister, Mr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, he invited to me his office. So I met him there one night and we discussed.
And which year was this?
It was, I think, in the year 2014.
Okay.
So he helped me a lot. He was the only person who came up, and I really admire him till day. And he's a great man. So
he is somebody who really motivates young people.
Yeah.
I think that is what I really like about him. I also made a video for him, and I said that he's a fantastic communicator.
He is.
Look, and you're speaking about him. Fantastic.
So he was the only person who came, who invited me, and we had a talk. He helped me. He helped me in a lot of ways. So later, after that particular project of the operating system and the hardware system that I built in 2014, was invited to a lot of places, like a Turkish company. They invited me to Istanbul, basically to buy up my project.
Okay.
So those things didn't go that quite well because I didn't want to sell my invention to anyone.
Okay.
I wanted my name out there. So later, what I did was I stopped that particular. I thought we'll take a pause because my class 11, 12 were there, and I had a lot of pressure at that time because maths was not my strongest subject. I I've always been telling this.
That's unbelievable, no? Somebody who's done a maths, you know,
I get it.
all those sums, and then you say maths is not your forte.
No, maybe because I found out easier ways to cope up with that particular subject. So class 12 was a very quite bitter experience because
Where were you doing your class 12?
Don Bosco.
Don Bosco itself, okay.
So that time the study pressure was there, me inventing something was there, I working with projects and people inviting me to collaborate to a lot of projects was there. So it was really tough for me to cope up with that particular period because I had to take everything parallelly.
All right.
And बहुत tough हो गया So that still I did not step back like. I invented I created.
All right.
I would like to use the word created because it's a creation and it's creative. A particular set of glasses.
Yes. I think I read about it.
Yeah.
Please tell me. Tell us.
Yeah. So this is a particular glass. Everybody have heard about this project by Google called Google Glass. Now I was really inspired by that project. So what I did was I wanted a Google Glass, I wanted that Google Glass for myself, but Google Glass was pretty expensive and it was not accessible to normal people. And so what I thought was, it would be fun to have something like that with me without purchasing it because it was not accessible to normal people. Only developers had access to it. So I took this project to me and I was like, I have to build this one. What I did was I came up with a complete different idea. I came up with a complete different technology than Google. And again, that came up to be an invention because the technology I was using for that particular glass, you just wear the glass, you have a reflected screen out here. You don't have to switch on your phones to check messages. Yeah. And you don't have to even check Google Maps.
And where do we get your glasses? Can you tell the viewers where we can buy your glasses? Or these are very, very expensive.
Actually, it's very cheap, but it's just a prototype. Still not marketed it. We are trying to make it more perfect, and it's in a test period from a while. But if anyone wants to use it, they're invited to my place. And
I'm going to be the first one to go. I'm going.
So you're most welcome to my home, and you can use it.
Sure. And
you can have your hands-on review or whatever you call it. It's going to be wonderful because it has guided access. It has guided access for blind people as well.
Wow.
Like every step that it has a set of sensors that can detect obstacles. And it can also display. And
this, Afreed, you were doing all this time. You were creating this on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you didn't have anybody else to help you out.
My dad was always there behind me.
Wow. But I must give him a round of applause because he's so supportive.
That's true.
What's his name? We need to know.
Yeah, my dad's name is Nurul Islam.
All right.
He's working on a government job. My parents have been very supportive. That's true. They have never stopped me.
All right.
Even I faced failures a lot of failures, but they never stopped me. They never said to me, you stop it, stop wasting your time, because I wasted a lot of money in my experiments, from them. Because I used to get a pocket money and that was not sufficient for my inventions. So I used to demand a lot. And
but they have been very supportive.
Yeah, exactly.
But then they know that they're working with a genius because they know that the son is a genius, and if they invest in this particular person, they know that no. But see, I'll tell you one thing. When you say failures, I will say that failures are like stepping stones to success. We all know that. So many times, who was the one who invented the light bulb, right? How many times did he? Yes, he failed out, and then he said that no, those are not my failures, but those are and many times that I know that it's not going to work. So we understand that as we keep working on it, and I don't think I'm going to keep telling you because right now I'm listening to your story like a child who is listening to a kind of a story which is unthinkable for me. Because I would have never thought of inventing or coming up with a prototype which you thought you would use and you're working on it now. I would have never thought about that. I am a person who is into arts and creativity and talking and speaking and all that. And if I would have done something like that, and that's amazing. I mean, I'm just listening to your whole story like a little child.
I get it.
Yeah, and then what happens next? Because you were talking about 2 inventions.
Yeah.
two creations that you have to your name, and then you have a third one,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. So as a kid, like because how I'm still a kid, there are a lot of things. We watch movies, we read comic books, and I was always fascinated by the superheroes. Most interestingly, like that particular year, I think in 2014, there was a sequel of Iron Man that came up, and Iron Man is my favorite superhero. I loved the way he uses technology. I love the way they portray the use of advanced technologies, and I really got fascinated. And he had this particular transparent computer system where he builds things. It was holographic.
I really want to know whether you've been doing that.
Yeah. So like that was a dream for me. I really wanted that particular thing. So I did a lot of research. I went online. There were very few articles about transparent screens back in 2015. Yeah, exact year was 2015. Even geo boom was not there, so internet was still again like not a lot of resources over YouTube. Nobody explaining things, and still I kept on working on it because I needed a system exactly like him, and that was kind of I was very stubborn on that. Like I need it. I asked my parents, where do I get it? They told me it's not available. It's a fictitious thing. It was a fiction. So later in 2016, finally one night, just before my class 12 exams, like final exams, I was able to create that particular screen. I was able to replicate exactly that particular computer system where it's a completely transparent glass and there are projections on it and you can touch it and it's like Iron Man.
I am amazed. Can I go and see this at your place?
Yeah, sure.
I will be the first one to go and see this because I'm so excited, really. Because and tell me one thing: while you were doing all this, did Don Bosco School actually realize that they are working with a genius?
Yeah, they also supported
did they realize that they have a student who is a genius?
They also awarded me like multiple times.
Oh wow!
Like I was felicitated by the principal there, Father Sebastian, and they have been very supportive with that.
Super. And so, what are you doing now after your class 12? What's happening?
After my class 12, I didn't go for engineering because there's one thing about engineering. Again, maths was there, but not importantly maths. I thought engineering will teach me computer science again, building things again. I already somewhat
know it already.
Not exactly 100%, but somewhere
around 80% you know it already.
Yeah, I know it.
Yes.
So that's why I thought, let's not go to that particular, let me learn on, because I believe in learning like by my own.
Yes.
So after my class 12, I joined a college in Bangalore, under Bangalore University. I completed my bachelor's degree on business administration.
Okay.
But
that's wide apart.
Exactly. That's quite wide apart because business is something else and again technology is something else. But I really was interested in learning the way of managing things, and BBA taught me, like Bachelor of Business Administration really taught me how to manage things and how to manage money, how to like form a company, all those things. So in my class 12, while I was in my class 12, I started my own company that time. It's called WebWorks Asia. It's a tech firm, and we have been dealing with a lot of clients, thankfully, and a lot of research projects.
So when we search for you on WebWorks, we get you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's www.webworks.
www.webworksasia.com.
Okay, webworksasia.com.
Exactly.
All right, so now I'm going to search for you. I'm going to get into it, and I'm going to start exploring your page.
Yeah. So there I have uploaded a lot of projects, uploaded all my collaborative projects there, each and everything. Basically, recently even I got invited to attend a 5G summit in China, which I couldn't go because of a lot of problem and the COVID
thing?
Of course, yeah.
Yes,
it's a COVID thing. Like a lot of travel plans has been cancelled, and so I have been working with artificial intelligence. I have been working with 5G, machine learning, and a lot of things came up. Like it's not working actually; it's me learning. Because today, when I see people driving autonomous driven cars, I like the advancement that I saw. It's vast. Like whatever dreams I had, whatever ideas I had, all those things with today's technology are possible. Like, which was a dream 5 years back. Now it's possible because there are cars driving on like themselves without a driver. So all those things really fascinate me, and I want to learn. I really want to learn each and everything because I'm still a learner, I'm still a newbie, I'm still a beginner on this. And I really want to upgrade myself.
I really want to, suddenly as you were talking about the car thing, I suddenly thought of Elon Musk and his Tesla, and immediately I was thinking that, wow, I'm going to ask him now to come up with a car which is not going to emit too much of these carbon, those things that we have,
Exactly.
these things that which spoil the environment. If you could come up with a car like that, I mean, it would be. It'll be a blessing for us, in fact, because see, every car, all these 4x4 cars that we have, even my car, I don't think it's environment friendly, because I recently made a video where I was talking about change your car. You need to change your car. If you're talking about climate change, if you're talking about environment, I think you need to change the car.
Exactly.
And I think I'm going to ask Afreed Islam today on camera right here. I'm going to tell him, please come up with something that.
Sure. Actually, I too have an interest in cars and the technology cars uses, and that's the reason I talked about Tesla just now, because I'm really fascinated by that kind of a car. It's very clean, it's environment friendly, and it's cheaper. Like it's cheaper than petrol, of course.
Right.
Like we're using electricity there, and if we implement all those technologies, the AI technology, and also the emission control system that cars have, if we work on that and if we can make it more environment friendly than it is, because environment change is a big issue, and we all are contributing towards harming the environment, not developing, not helping it heal. So I'd really love to work on a project like that.
Yes, and then maybe you could beat Elon Musk at, he's made it so expensive. The car is really expensive.
Exactly.
I mean, the market price, I'm talking of the market, and
not
it's not accessible for normal people. If we really want to leave something behind for our younger generation, I mean, an environment where we want that it should be, free of carbon and all these things. So I think, if you come up with a car like that, and which is affordable, like Tata did, at one point of time they came up with Maruti, and then, maybe you could think of something like, not Maruti, sorry, I'm sorry.
I get it.
Yeah, so they got a car which was like very friendly to the pocket. So I think you could come up with something like that.
Yeah, I'll really work on something like that.
And so what's your plan after, you've done your BBA, and then what's your next? Do you have more plans to study, or?
Actually, I really want to complete my MBA.
All right.
Because again, I want to learn, because I'm still a learner, and I really want to learn the basic principles of management. BBA taught me a lot, but there are still a lot of things that I need to learn, and I'm really not that good with communicating, and I really get nervous sometimes, and words are not my biggest strengths. So I like to mail someone instead of talking. And this talk show, I really got, when you invited me, I really got psyched up. Like, I'll have to talk in front of a camera. I'll have to talk to you. Like, if it was mailing or WhatsApp, it was a different thing. Like.
Yes, I want to tell the viewers one thing about Afreed. When I was messaging you last night, and he was telling me one thing. He told me, let's not talk about me at all, let's not talk about me at all. But why? I mean, and I said, no, I want to talk everything about you. He said, let us talk very little about me and a lot about technology. I mean, that's because he's so much in love with his, with this whole subject. So that is why he wanted to talk about this. So let us talk about what's happening in the recent, whatever's happening. What do you think is the next? Because see, we recently Juhi Chawla came up with something called 5G. It shouldn't come, and the radiation and stuff like that. So what do you have to say about that?
See, to answer this question, I'll have to take you to the past. Like, let's talk about the year 1980s.
All right.
I was not even born that time. So what happened at that time was, like, people used to use analog phones. Just the call feature was there. Then the first generation of phones, like first generation of network came up in 1980, somewhere between 1985 to 1990s. The first generation was there. Now gradually, in the second generation, which we are using initially, we came up with something called GPRS. We had those phones that can access the internet, like very slow connections, but it was the first introduction to the second generation of telecom networks. Then came up with the 3G. 3G was a big thing. BSNL was the first company, I guess, that came up with the 3G concept, and it was fast, quite fast. Like before, we used to wait download a song, we had to wait around 1 hour. When 3G came up, it was 15 minutes. It was with high speed, like megabits per second. Before it was kilobits per second. Now what we have is the 4G network. That revolutionized. What happened was, like, if you see, I don't know if much people are talking about this, the Geo boom, Geo wave. Back, I would like to divide the era into two parts, like before Geo and after Geo. Before Geo, only a selected few people had access to resources like YouTube. Very few people knew about Facebook. What happened after Geo? When Geo started giving free internet, affordable internet to everyone, cheap phones came up that can serve the internet. That particular year, when Geo first launched, everybody had access to internet. People got more aware of things like YouTube, Facebook, and how they can start earning from these particular platforms. A lot of YouTubers came up, a lot of social media influencers came up. Everybody got access. Like, people came, if someone wants to learn something, they just Google it, and that's always there. So 4G, what did the 4G wave do is they connected each and every person, each and every nook and corner of basically India, I'm talking about, to the internet and to the outside world. So people got a global exposure of everything. Now let's talk about 5G. What will 5G do? 5G is a unified network. Like 4G was there were boundaries to 4G as well, like the latency. Let me describe what latency is in layman. Like, latency is the time, actually, is the gap. So what you have to send a parcel to one of your friend. He stays in Delhi. What you will do, you will go to a courier agency, give them, hand it over, and they will send it. Once the process of you sending it is completed, then the receiver, whom you are sending, he will send you a message that I have received your parcel. Yeah. Thank you. That's acknowledgement. So this process, the time that this process took, that is called latency.
Okay.
What happens in the latency is that digital signal is sent to someone, then the receiver acknowledges it, that it has been received. So that particular process is latency, and 5G has an ultra low latency. So that's the future of networks. We'll be experiencing very high speeds, more than 20 GBs per second. Wow. And I think that's...
What about the radiation and
radiations, because it is a unified network and there will be air control, it will be air transmitted, whatever Qualcomm, the company who is a main part of the development process in 5G, they are telling that it will be air controlled, air transmitted, I mean. So with the good sides of it, there will be cons to it, for sure.
Okay.
Then there will be, because with high speeds, there will be more network bandwidth that will be used, more signals will be transmitted at a very short distances, and I think radiations will be there, but again, there's always a cost for everything.
Yes, and
I think we'll have to pay.
We have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I think if we want fast network, I mean, we have to pay for
exactly.
it. And I think Juhi Chawla, I don't know, she might have just created a hype for whatever it was, but then...
I have not heard that, but still.
Yeah, I heard about it, where she was saying that, 5G is going to have a lot of radiation, plants are going to birds are going to die, animals are going to die, it's going to affect the human body and stuff like that. So she was saying that, but then I think the High Court has kind of quashed her.
Yeah, there is a cost. There is a cost. We'll have to pay for that, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be affecting the environment because, again, it's air transmitted.
But I'm sure scientists like you will again be doing some research on how to make life safer, exactly. And then we can
maybe there will be a solution, of course.
Of course.
To preventing that.
So, and what about Internet of Things and its uprising? What do you have to say about that?
Internet of Things is the new boom, for sure. Like the craze about us is among everyone. Everybody wants to know what's Internet of Things. Like, if I am driving back from here to my home, I want my room to be cool because it's a humid day here in Guwahati. So what I will do is I'll just open up my phone, I'll press a button, and the AC in my home will will go on climate control mode, and automatically it will cool down my house. That's Internet of Things there. The ease of doing things through internet. I don't have to go and boil a cup of coffee now. I just have to press a button, exactly, and my cup of coffee is ready.
Wow.
So that's Internet of Things. A lot of things are coming up with Internet of Things. It's connecting machines to humans in a faster and more better way.
And Afreed, here again as a layman, I'm asking you, is it going to be safe?
Yeah, IoT is going to be safe. Because that's you commanding, not
somebody
not
else.
They
but then again, is there a possibility of somebody hacking into your system and while you were saying that, okay, AC, I want you to be cool in my room right now, but somebody else is already hacking into your system, and then maybe you have...
even that is possible. So because of that, we'll have firewalls for that. Like protection should be there. Even now, anyone can access your computers, but still there are protective ways where you can protect your computers. So basically, you have antiviruses, you have firewalls, and these systems, these IoT systems will also have the similar things to protect each and everyone from all those malpractices.
I think recently my son and we were watching a movie together. It's about this robot and Taz or Tao or some Tao, I think it was Tao, and where this gentleman, he's like a scientist like you, and he has his entire house, it's all Internet of Things, so whatever he wants to get done, suppose he wants to change the backdrop, and he just needs to give the command, and then he gets it done. And everything, even for the girl who he holds captive, is he makes sure that robot is actually taken care of. So it was so of Internet of Things. I think the movie's name was Tao.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very nice. It was a very nice movie. So I also want to ask you about awareness about the internet, about cyber awareness amongst girls. That is something so important, because nowadays there's so much of crimes going on, there's so much of things happening around. What do you have to say about that? How can they keep themselves safe? I'm very concerned about, especially about the girls. Even boys are also sometimes bullied and harassed on the net. Yes.
I have been working on that very recently, and in recent few years I have been working on cyber awareness. And this is with the exposure to the internet, because internet has a good side and a bad side, and most likely people get attracted to the negative side of it, due to which there are a lot of cases where people get cyberbullied, blackmailed, and a lot of cases of harassment. People are committing suicide because of some comment on Facebook, because of some comment on Instagram, because someone posted something. So what I think is we should have better awareness programs for them. We should have work from a very initial stage in the schools. We should teach our students, we should teach the new upcoming generation what are the do's and don'ts.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I was taught something in my computer subject. There was a term called netiquette, the rules of the internet.
Okay.
So everything has a set of rules, and we should abide by it. If we break those, there are possibilities where we might face harassments, we might face blackmailings. And people should, what I believe is, it's your private life, and there are some parts of it you should keep it private.
Exactly.
Not everything should be on the internet.
I know, and some people even go and show their bedroom. Exactly. Somebody would show their way, the entrance to their house. So that becomes very dangerous.
Exactly.
Sometimes I feel, my house is so private, nobody even knows my address. So, I'm that private about my own life. I don't even show my home. I don't know. Nobody knows where I stay. So I think that's very important. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is artificial intelligence versus humans, and what are the pros and cons?
See, what I believe is artificial intelligence is a complete game changer to the way we use technology, to the way we use our gadgets. It's completely a new way, and artificial intelligence is something which all the big giants are working on towards improving it. Say it Facebook, say it Google, say it Apple, say it Elon Musk. I already told about the autonomy of vehicles. So artificial intelligence is a way, it's a way of easing work for human beings, where people don't have to work much. Our AIs will do it for them. And what I believe is, because I have been asked this a lot of times, what if AI due to artificial intelligence, some robot comes up and kills the entire, exterminates the entire humanity,
human race.
Yeah. So what I would like to say is, first thing is to program artificial intelligence with the ability to set objectives, set its own objectives. It's far from now. Like we are nowhere near that. Even the big tech giants will tell you. I was listening to a video of Jeff Bezos. Even he said that we are far behind from creating something which can decide, which can set its own objectives. And even if we program something like that, it's very unlikely that its first instinct will be exterminating the entire human race. So I believe it will be very useful to us, because through, as you said, the environmental factors, we'll have to protect the environment and the cars, the pollution and everything. So I think AI might help us to provide cheap, clean energy in future, and AI will also be able to help us teach the students in, like the poor students in the poor underdeveloping countries like Ghana, like Africa, like countries in the continent of Africa. So where teaching is a very big, education is a pricey thing there. So with the help of AI, we'll be able to help all those kids, and the AI will be able to teach them on their own. Like.
Wow. That's so heartening, no? I mean, all this time people were scared that AI is going to take over the world and we are going to be like, the slaves of AI. But I think you have put that to rest, and you are saying that, no, we are not going to.
Even I would like to raise a point here. The corona thing, like even with the artificial intelligence, we can create, like there are projects going on where AI is being used to find out the treatment of corona. And who knows, some fine day or maybe tomorrow, someone comes up with a news that AI somewhere around the world has found a way to solve the corona problem, and COVID-19 is gone. So even there are chances like that, because AI is so advanced, and that's very like human, like I think that's the best creation of the human race.
But what, viewers, I'm looking at this gentleman to make a breakthrough in AI. So I'm going to point at him and I'm going to say, okay, you got to do it, Afreed. So one last question before we wind up. And what is the social media influence on business?
As I have already talked about the geo boom and people getting awareness, people getting alert about the uses of various services like YouTube, e-commerce sites. So social media is having a very different approach now.
Okay.
People are selling things even on Facebook. People are selling things on Instagram, and in those ways, people are being more alert, more aware that they, like just by sitting at their home, they can get connected to the world. They can start showing their talent. Then they can start giving services to people. They can start creating beautiful things with the help of internet, with the help of social media, and they can market themselves.
Wow.
And there are a lot of people who market themselves, and they are very successful. And so through social media influencing, through social media tools, people are able to earn a lot. And I really encourage, and I'm really happy that there are a lot of YouTubers from Assam that came up with brilliant ideas, like even Dimpu Borwa is there, and a lot of people are there who have showed people a different way, and people, even they're inspiring others. Harpal Saikia, exactly. I really love that guy.
I really love that guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's very funny, and they are being an inspiration to a lot of people, and that's helping a lot.
Super, super. You know what, viewers, today you happen to meet the genius, the one and only, the Afreed Islam, and I am totally privileged because I actually got him to the fore, got him in front of the camera, because he was always saying, no, I don't want to speak, I don't want to speak about myself. But then we got him to speak a lot about himself, we got him to speak a lot about technology, and now I'm looking forward to Afreed coming up with another creation, another invention. He's already got 3 patents now, let me tell you that. And he's got an award as well, right? You didn't speak about your award. Which is the award you got? You have to say that.
Yeah, I got a Young Scientist Award back in 2014.
And this was given to you by the?
By the President.
By the President of India.
Yeah.
Wow. This is so good, and you got it from the man, right?
Yeah, exactly.
From Dr. APJ Abdul
I always
Kalam.
look up to him because
Yes, yes. I happened to meet him also, and then he was saying that I have a thought for young people. If you ever meet them, tell them to dream with their eyes open. This is I met him in Jorhat, and then I always keep telling young people that, and I always keep telling young people also that if you have a dream like Afreed, and he has started young, he started even, I think when he says he got his first computer when he was in class 2. So he went on, and he said he's got failures, but I feel that those are just stepping stones to him becoming one of the greatest scientists, one of the biggest creative persons that you can ever see. And I'm so happy. I hope you're influenced by Afreed Islam. Afreed, thank you so much for coming to Betikram, for coming to Let's Talk with Tinat, because why I got you here is you're so young. I'll still say that you're a little child when I look at my age, and when I look at you, you're still a child. And at your age, the kind of things that you're doing, you are a very big influence for the rest of the young children. And that is why I got you here, because young children now are sitting at home and they're saying, oh, we're bored, it's COVID, we can't go out. But here is somebody who is constantly working his grey cells. I mean, have you ever tried how much of your brain you've used till now?
No,
I'm sure you're using a lot of it, because some people, we keep our grey matter, most of the time we keep it idle. But I'm sure Afreed Islam is using it to the maximum extent possible. I wish you all the best, and I hope you come up with more creative ideas so that I can call you back again. And maybe someday I'm going to be sitting where you're going to get the second award from the president, and I'm going to be applauding for you. And I wish you all the best.
I'd like to say something. I'd like to thank you, Tinat, for really inviting me and giving me an opportunity
Always
here.
welcome.
And I would also like to thank Betikram Group for this very Betikram-y program that you host. And I really loved it when you because you made me feel relaxed. I was very nervous. I was very anxious about this particular interview. And thanks to you for giving me this opportunity and at least giving me this confidence to speak up. I really spoke a lot, I think.
Yeah, no, you have to speak a lot. You have got a lot more to speak. The story will continue. The Afreed Islam is going to continue with the story, and I'm going to leave it like that, because I know that this story is to be continued. ... because he is coming up with more inventions. Thank you, Afreed. Thank you so much, and thank you, viewers, for watching my program. And please be back again with Let's Talk with Tinat Masood. Thank you so much.
Thank you.